Hi, you're watching Bike Routes of Brum, a channel dedicated to finding safe cycle routes across Birmingham. In this video we'll be cycling from Weoley Castle to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. In this route we'll be using quiet streets, bike lanes, and we'll be on another trip on the Bourn Brook Walkway. And it should take about 15 minutes to cycle. The route's pretty straightforward, and if you factor in parking times on either end, this is probably one of the fastest ways to get between the two areas. It's probably not the most direct route, but in the summertime I can imagine it's one of the nicest ways to get between the two. I've put a link to the route into the description below so you can download the GPX file for yourself. So we're starting in Castle Square, which is kind of the big roundabout in Weoley Castle, and we're going to go down this path and hop over the road and onto Reservoir Road. You've got the Weoley Castle Library there to your right, just as a point of reference. I wasn't sure how busy this was going to be or how it would feel to cycle. Usually I just use kind of Google Maps to give me a feel of the place. But yeah, cycling around on a Saturday morning, it was alright. I had my son on the back of the bike this time with me, and I felt fine cycling along here. But as I always say, take it with a pinch of salt, because I don't know how busy it's going to be when you're actually looking to cycle. We take a left now onto Castle Road, so named because Weoley Castle, the actual ruins of the castle, are, I think, just behind those houses there. And we follow the roundabout round and onto Reservoir Road, I think that's how you pronounce it. And we get to the end of the road and basically have to hop up onto the pavement here and cross what is the proposed route for the Lapal Canal. Now, the Lapal Canal, I think, it used to stretch from Selly Oak and goes all the way to the Netherton Tunnel, which is over in the Black Country, and it was basically meant to be like a bypass, so people could get coal from the Black Country to London without having to go through the congested bit of Birmingham. There is plans to try and bring it back. I don't know where they are in terms of funding. I know that the works that they were doing in Selly Oak, around the Selly Oak Basin, that was to kind of start it. Now we kind of wiggle our way through the gate there. I think if you've got any sort of adapted cycle, you're not going to get through that bit there. So what you could do is, at the roundabout that we just passed, if you take a right there, you go onto what's called Reservoir Road, and if you just follow that all the way, it runs parallel with the Bourn Brook Walkway, and then when you get to the end, there's a toucan crossing that you can go over, and you get onto the cycle path that will join at the end. And I'd also advise anyone if you're trying to do this on a road bike and it's just rained, you're going to have a bad time as well. I think it just rained the night before, and I'm usually doing it on a hybrid bike, and I didn't think it was great. So if you've got even thinner tyres than I do, I'd probably give this one a miss. But I imagine in the summer it's probably really nice, especially when it's dry and there's leaves on the trees, because it does look a little bit bare at the moment. But yeah, I can really see this being nice when it's dry. Now I think we've crossed over onto the Warwickshire side. I think I read somewhere that the Bourn Brook was historically the dividing line between Worcestershire and Warwickshire. I know definitely over the other side of Selly Oak, where the A38 cycle lane starts, that's definitely the divide, but whether it's stretched out this far, I'm not really sure. Now, the Bourn Brook Walkway does stretch from Harborne Lane, I think, in Selly Oak, and it goes all the way. If we'd gone left when we joined, that would take us all the way to Woodgate Valley Park, and it kind of weaves its way along the river through California and then over to Woodgate Valley. Now, my friend Lisa from Eco Birmingham, she's planned a really nice ride along here that I'll put a link to in the description below. I'm planning on filming it, but I want to kind of wait till the weather's a little bit better and there's a bit of greenery around here to do it justice. But cycling along this bit is, regardless of the time of year, is really nice. There seems to be very few parts of Birmingham that just have this kind of wetland that you don't. I think it's really important to have for all the different animals that live in there, and it's good to see it in the city where this could easily, I could see somebody trying to build on it, and it's nice to just see it being used in this way. But we're crossing now over this blue bridge, and we're coming up to Harborne Lane, or the A4040. We're going to take a left and basically come to this toucan crossing here, and we cross over and we join a cycle path and go over here. I apologise for the bad editing there. The cycle path weaves around, I'm not sure what happened, but we follow this over. I think the footpath is over in the distance, but this is a dedicated cycle path by the looks of it, and we're cycling up, and we are coming up to Vincent Lane, or Vincent Road I think it is, and we take a right, Vincent Drive, I apologise, and cycle up here. Now Vincent Drive, I think they closed it to cars. I had a look on Google Maps, it must have been around at some point between 2010 and 2011, and do you know what, it shows that you can do it in Birmingham. You can close off roads and nothing really bad happens. Obviously not every road, but here on the build up to the hospital, it's made a really nice path to cycle and walk along, and it's a great way to cut through from that side over to the hospital. Now we hop over Mindlesome Way there and onto this bit. I don't think it really has a name, this path. I think it forms part of I think, judging by the way it's going, it joins up with the old Roman road, I think, where there's like the remains of the fort by the hospital. We go left here onto Hospital Way and follow it up. You will be sharing this road probably with other cars, but I think you'd be fine cycling along it. And we tuck in just onto here, and you can see all these cycle racks for people for the hospital, where we end our journey. Thanks again for watching the video. I hope that you found it useful. If you have any other ideas for alternate routes or want to mention anything that I've forgotten, please feel free to comment below. I try to upload these videos as much as I can, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any routes. Thanks again for watching.